national television to tell us we're facing a crisis at Christmas.
Yeah.
Any of the correct infrastructure there? I'm not questioning necessarily the need for it. And Dr. Hillary is here, of course, and you, and clearly any planning for it. Where are the...
The public heard about it.
Is something that creates more panic, not less.
Which is 16 a second. We're trying to...
have actually said, we're going to need to do...
everybody now wants to get a jab.
That's fine, but it's put stress on millions to clear their beds, of possibly empty those beds. That is extremely stressful for any relative this morning. Of another scandal that Boris Johnson was involved in trying to change the rules to protect a friend from accusations and suspension over lobbying, being Tory. And lateral flows in North Shropshire. Be thinking, what on earth is going on?
So that shows the...
Partner.
All right, okay.
Yeah, you need... And my son's only...
Good morning, Britain. It's just gone 6:32. It's a shame Laura Tobin isn't here, actually, because Gregory Porter sang a song all about Laura. About turning
Hey, Laura.
Well, no, I'm sure it was Laura Tobin. Hey, Laura. What is it? What is it? It's, hey, Laura, sorry. Ring your doorbell so late. Oh, we don't need Gregory Porter, in fact, do we?
I thought he was here.
You what?
No, we need a bit of soothing,
listen,
don't we?
We need some of this right now.
We need a bit of soothing, I think.
Boris Johnson needs a bit of soothing at the moment, doesn't he?
And many of you at home yesterday may well have been one of the 4.4 million people who logged onto the website to try and get your booster jab. As we were told, there's a tidal wave of Omicron on its way. Apparently by tomorrow, it'll be the strain that's dominating hospital wards everywhere, and it'll be all, it's a crisis that we're being told. And I use that carefully because I suppose one of the questions that is raised this morning is that if you were one of those who is still waiting to book, 115,000 people had actually secured slots. Lucky for you if you were one of them. That's of around 20 million of us now who are eligible for this booster jab. 127,000 people actually stuck waiting in online.
OK,
there. Oh, very pleased.
We'll speak to Paul Brand later. It's an exclusive from ITV. Downing Street have been warned not to destroy any relevant information regarding the latest Christmas party.
Before we end this discussion here, he did the right material to be Prime Minister.
He's proven he's proven that he can be Prime Minister. Anyway, we need to look at the state.
Dr. Hillary, you're back with us later to come, bringing some jazz, soulful on ITV. Oh, are you?
Yes, because we have got an amazing... Oh, I've been on the show, 4 years now? Had some great guests coming in here.
Feels like longer.
All right. But we have a 101-year-old guest coming in.
I know.
101.
I saw him this morning. He's a volunteer. He's one of... Is he the oldest volunteer at the Alzheimer's Society?
That's right.
To be dementia-friendly.
Yes.
He volunteers his own time to help other people at 101.
You may well remember him. He was inspired by Sir Captain Tom Moore, and he walked round his garden. His name is Dabarul Chowdhury, and he raised £1 million for charities all around the world.
He did. And he's coming in because he's supporting our Million Minutes campaign, which you are...
Chowdhury will be with us soon. OK, before we get the news, time now, £430,000. Here's Andy Peters with all the details.
Now, it's 7 o'clock. Let's take a look at the weather. Here's Alex. 7. Our top story. Boris Johnson has called for tens of thousands of volunteers to come forward to help deliver booster jabs. It followed a day of chaos, which saw 8-hour queues at some vaccine centres. The NHS website's reportedly crashing several times. Stocks of lateral flow tests running out in pharmacies up and down the country. You may well have experienced that yourself yesterday.
The Prime Minister's plea comes as official figures show that as many as 200,000 people may have already caught the Omicron variant.
Well, loads of you are getting in touch actually this morning, about what happened yesterday, whether you were stuck in those queues, whether you tried to get lateral flow tests, but also actually on this campaign now it seems to have come out of nowhere about a volunteer army that we need. Suzanne on Twitter says, I've just been on the NHS website as a retired nurse to become a vaccinator. It says all posts at all levels, both professional and non-professional, are closed to applications. Penny on Twitter says, my mum's an ex-nurse, retired 2 years ago, who's been signed up as a volunteer from the start, has never been contacted. She says the system for volunteers is also flawed and chaotic by the looks of it. Kay says, last year I volunteered to be a vaccinator. Issue that we're going to have to bring up with Dominic Raab, essentially. He's coming on the programme, Deputy Prime Minister. We're going to have to talk to him about why the announcement was made for everybody to, essentially, for us all to go into slight crisis mode about get your jab if you haven't got it, your third one. And yet, there aren't enough people to put them in our arms.
It's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, you know, it's an emergency plan without a plan.
Any structure, without
an emergency,
a plan.
but without
and that is a
plan.
point that we will put to Dominic Raab.
Yeah.
That's our main news here. Please do keep getting in touch with us, though, of your experiences of trying to be a volunteer to get those jabs in, and also what's happened yesterday if you're in those queues. But Sean now has, more Downing Street.
Yeah,
actually.
If anybody's interested.
Yeah.
I think that was a very subtle sort of plea. But do you have a little bit of a dance? You know,
I can't, because I didn't do any dancing on my own.
Right.
I was only in hold, so
Right.
you need someone to be in hold with, Adil.
That's twice you said it now. Now let's get the latest news, travel and weather where you are. Someone to be in hold.